The game has changed. How we take on clients has changed. They think they're more sophisticated, they're more knowledgeable. We can debate that. But you just can't run a two-meeting process anymore. Hey, meeting, give me all your statements. I'll come up with some ideas. We'll get back together again. Because then you end up in follow-up hell. This is about not having to do follow-ups. This is about getting the yes and moving them forward. Hi, this is Coach Joe Lucas, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. My goal inside of this communication, this show, is to share with you my nearly 30 years of coaching some of the most successful financial advisors in North America. We're going to be talking about strategies, syntaxes. We're going to be bringing guests on from time to time, and I'm going to share with you what's working now. So think of this show as sort of like a little one-on-one kind of mini coaching cast, if you like, where we're going to be going in depth from time to time on strategies to help you grow your business, get more effective, become more efficient, find balance in your time management, grow your business, and quite frankly, whatever else is going on in the world today. So before we get to today's episode, I'd love for you to do a couple things for me. Number one, make sure that if you're watching this on YouTube, that you subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you're doing the audio, make sure that you give us a review on whether Spotify or Apple. We'd really appreciate that. And quite frankly, that does help. It does matter when you rate things and like things and subscribe to things. It helps us get the word out to more of the industry. And lastly, I have a very special gift for you. Go to MagellanNetwork.net, so one word, MagellanNetwork.net, and I have for you a complimentary membership, 100% gratis, where you can tap into about between 50 and 75 hours of masterclasses, forms, tools, templates, and strategies. So please go ahead and make sure you go ahead and get that claimed. Smash the like button and subscribe. And please go ahead and leave us a review on whatever podcasting platform you're on. And now, let's get to this week's episode. Hi, it's your coach, Joe Lucas, and welcome to a module number 3, or I should say, session number 3 of our Get to Yes 2.0 kind of preview, a little mini masterclass, just something that we're going to be teaching. Actually, if you're watching this on a Friday, we're going to be teaching it and going live on Monday. So real quick, if after you watch this video, you want to take advantage of being part of this, access to the live stream and the masterclass, you must take action on this in the next 48 hours. Otherwise, it's going to disappear until 2024. So what I thought we'd do, again, this is a full 2-day program, is I wanted to fast forward since the last preview that we're doing here. I want to talk to you guys about the type of meetings and the cadence on very specifically how to take a prospect and convert them to a client. And, in version 1.0, I debuted that back in 2018, 2019, well before the pandemic. And so since then, obviously, I'm pretty much sure every one of you has done Zoom upon Zoom upon Zoom upon Zoom. And we've gotten a lot of data. When I first built the program, it was really built to have people come in the office, proximity, live, things like that. And so what I wanted to do like I said, in this video, in this episode, is just kind of walk you through the various steps. We're not going to spend a ton of time. That's what the training's for, the live stream. But I want to kind of walk you through it. So the first thing in all situations, and I mean all situations, is that we're going to book an intro Zoom. So whether they're referred to you by a client, through a seminar, some online lead gen program, COI, it doesn't matter. We are always going to do it virtually first. Why? You don't know who they are. And we all know that once somebody hits the office, they're going to hit the office for about 60 minutes, if not more. And a lot of times they're not going to be a good fit. The other thing a Zoom does, I guess you can do it via phone call too if you had to, is that it creates scarcity and authority. And that's something that's really important for advisors, is that you just can't fall all over yourself to go rush to meet people. You lose the power. you're ceding control. So step one, what we're going to do, an intro Zoom, and basically, we're just going to go over. So first thing is this way everybody starts. So the protocol is all prospect processes start with an intro and interview Zoom. And the key word there is interview. This is not a pitch fest. This is not let's get the pitch book open or any of that stuff. Like I said, it's going to create scarcity and qualification. And this is something where a lot of advisors struggle with because of their own scarcity mentality. We need to understand that we are the experts. We are the professional. So we get to do things the way that we need to do them. It also gives you an opportunity to build rapport with the person on the other end of the Zoom. The beauty of Zoom versus phone, quite frankly, you get to see their body language. They get to see you. It's a lot easier to build rapport when there's physicality, right? And the physicality can be virtual. It doesn't need to be in the room, same time, same place. You can build rapport using physicality. And really, after you kind of do, nice to meet you, things like that, the first question that matters is, how can I help you? That's it. How can I help you? That's the first question we're going to ask once we exchange pleasantries and get settled in. How can I help you? You have to get in the habit of asking questions, not making statements. Or what brings us together today? Now, I tend to use the second one and the first one. And when I do my intro Zooms with coaching prospects, hey, how can I help you today? I'm curious what brings us together, right? And then I'm literally going to bite down on my tongue, not talk, and let the person on the other end of the Zoom have the floor, basically. And then I'm just going to ask them to tell me their story. Hey, tell me a little bit about you, your background, how long have you been investing, tell me a little bit more about yourself, what do you do for a living? And again, it's really to get them talking, and we're taking notes or we're recording the Zoom, hopefully, and we're just letting them kind of do their thing. That way we never get into pitch mode. Why is this also very important? Everybody's favorite subject is what? Themselves. So if you think about it this way, by them knowing a lot about you and you knowing very little about them, what are you going to do with that, right? Do not think for a moment that, I'm just going to tell them everything we do and I'm going to show them our pitch book or our deck, or I'm going to take them on our website and do things like that. You're not going to have the information. This is really 80% of them talking and you're doing 80% of the listening. Okay, so that's the first Zoom, about 30 minutes. And, depending on where they're coming from, most people are probably going to be nice people. They go to the next step, but some will be, I'll get back to you, or it's not a good fit, or for whatever reason. This is why, you do this. I have including phone calls, for many decades, I've had an open conversation policy where any advisor anywhere in the world can having for 30 minutes, no questions asked. We're here, right? And it has served me very, very well in my career. All right, so we get through step one, intro Zoom. So now what happens? So let's just say it's a good fit. Let's say there's a meeting of the minds. There's something here. We feel we can help them. So what goes on next? Right? We're going to take a look. We're going to take a look at this. We're going to take a look at that. But before we do that, we're also going to make sure there's a couple of questions in here that we need to handle. Why are you looking to partner with an advisor? Tell me more why. So again, we're going to get them to expand things, and we use, like we said, we talk about that 80% rule. And then what you're going to do is pre-frame your process. So in other words, we're going to be setting expectations, and then we're going to pivot them to what we like to call the application, evaluation, planning consult, or something like that. And if they're not a good fit, we're going to give them some advice. Hey, maybe you need to go to the bank, or this kind of person you're looking for. Again, in the program, I'm going to give you very, very specific language on how to pivot away from somebody who's not a good fit, where they're still going to feel good, they're going to feel well served, and even if they come via referral, there'll be no negative blowback. Again, that's for being in the program, okay? And then one of the phrases that we always like, hey, would you be open to whatever we're open to? So in the intro meeting, we're just really there to establish why we're there, their pain points, a lot of whys. And again, we're there and we're going to outline our process. Hey, today we're doing this. Next week we do that. The following week we do that. And you lay it to the process. So these are some very important deliverables. Again, pain story. Remember, they must be open to change and your help. Really important. You must come from a place of authority. It doesn't mean you're ego-driven. It doesn't mean you're an ass. It doesn't mean anything like that. You just understand that you must be an authority. And then we're going to talk about the evaluation process in the program. We're going to give them homework to do so they're vested right. And why do you give people homework? Hi, Coach Joe Lucas here, and I'm just breaking here for a moment just to do a couple quick reminders. Number one, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel or our podcast. In addition, please leave a comment or a review. Those things really, really matter. And share this episode with 3 of your colleagues inside the financial services space. And lastly, make sure that you go ahead and claim your free membership inside of Magellan Network. Now back to this week's episode. You want to see how committed they are. You want to see how coachable they are. So what are some of the homework, goals, fears, issues, what they expect out of our relationship, okay? And then whatever information you need. So now they're going to come to the consult, okay? So figure about an hour, could be done via Zoom. Maybe now you bring them in the office, right? You know they're not crazy, which is fine. And we personally believe that if you have the capability, again, some firms you don't have the capability, so understand that. But if you do have the capability, we really, really recommend that you do charge for this. It doesn't matter what you charge, whatever you feel the appropriate amount. Why? We want them vested, and we want to know how serious they are. Again, really important. We're going to look at needs, wants, wounds, and you'll hear me talk a lot about that in the program, and what their goals are. What their specific goals are, their investment goals, why ever they're there with you, right? We're going to understand what their outcomes are that they need, critically important. And then one of the things we're also going to do is pre-frame what potential projects may come out of our consultation. Again, really important. We're also going to talk about that the consultation or the project is the extent of the relationship, but we're not getting retained. We're not ACATing money over. We're just, again, looking at projects. Again, that's really important. So where most advisors literally fall over themselves to go get ACATs and account openings and stuff like that, we take the exact counterintuitive approach, and we very specifically push that off, because you all know that once you take on a client, once you get an account open, once money hits the books, right? And if this thing doesn't work out and they're high maintenance, problematic, this is why projects are really important. You get to experience working with them to see how coachable they are, how likable they truly are, and they get to work with you too, right? This also gives us opportunity to maintain scarcity and authority, which again is some of our most powerful tools that we have in influence that most advisors fail to deploy. Also, if you're charging, let's say either from a couple hundred to several $1,000s, for the project, it's still a small decision. Think about it this way. It's probably a 4-figure decision versus a 7-figure decision. A lot easier to get done. It gets them committed. And if you follow Dr. Robert Cialdini, commitment consistency is one of the key elements of influence. And also eliminate shoppers. If people want stuff for free, look, there are plenty desperate advisors. There are plenty of resources. People want to go shop, and in this case, really window shop, right? They can go do that. That's their prerogative. We understand it, but we don't need to play with it. Again, really important. Okay? So now what happened? And I want you to think about like a week-by-week cadence. Now, can you compress time? Sure you can, but we like to look at this over the course of several weeks. Time is your ally here, not your enemy. Really important. So what we're going to do in the project game is go over the key items for the consult. Again, we're going to reiterate needs, wants, and wounds. We're also going to talk again about their goals. We're going to do because again, they need to hear it several times. And then we're going to outline what the projects are. Maybe they need a full financial plan. Maybe they need a tax review. Maybe they need asset map or some balance sheet type process, like a NWS, network statement. Maybe they have an estate planning need. Again, we're going to outline all these things. One of the things we're going to highly recommend is that you use assessments, behavioral assessments. Why? You want to know what's under the hood of everybody you deal with, right? Remember, you're seeing their external behavior, they're maybe hopefully on their best behavior, but what happens when they're stressed out? What happens when they're faced with uncertainty? What happens if there's another part of their life, their world that's not going well, right? How do we handle that? So that's why we always recommend part of the program we teach here. We use Relationship Insights, which is a DISC tool. We like that. You must link every project to a need, want, and wound. So again, in the program, I'm going to give you very specific languaging on whatever the projects are. Hey, we're going to do a financial plan because. We're going to do tax planning because. We're going to do estate planning because. We want to get an inventory of your assets. So we're going to execute an asset map because, right? Every project must have a link, a direct link to a need, a want, or a wound. What most advisors do is infer it. Hopefully the client can figure it out or the prospect can figure it out. We do not do that here. We want to make sure we're very intentional. We must also magnify their pain, and we need to really spend time on each one of these. Remember, pain, pleasure. People will do more to avoid pain than gain pleasure. So what most advisors do, shockingly, because it's the easy button, is they'll talk about all the features and benefits and their planning process and look at the team and look at these cool client events we do and look at all the beautiful stuff we do. You just got to say yes to us, right? And you're going to have this wonderful experience. And that is true, but it's not the complete recipe to get somebody to change, to get somebody to take action. So again, incredibly important. Okay? What else goes on? Like I said, we're going to talk about goals and a bucket list in a process. We're going to use frames. Again, I'm not going to get into this part of this preview here, but we're talking about pre-frames, reframes, and D-frames. I'm going to make you very, very adept at understanding how to pre-frame situations, how to reframe situations, and if necessary, how to deframe situations, right? We're always going to use a negative frame. Again, it's what most advisors don't like to do, but it's highly effective. We're going to teach you, or I'm going to teach you how to use negative framing, how to use positive frames, what we call as-if frames, right? So put them in a state of articulating what their ideal advisor relationship looks like. And again, we get into details on that. What is their why? Why is X important to you? Why is X this way? We're going to get into all that. What else is going to happen in this meeting? So again, this meeting is a big part of the, this is where the why in the road is. We're going to get them convicted and congruent. Convicted, not in a legal sense, obviously, but we're going to get them convicted into taking act. We're going to convict them and get them really, really super congruent. When somebody can't say yes to you, remember this little sidebar. When somebody can't say yes to you, it is because they are incongruent. They're confused. They're missing something. They can't say yes, right? And here's some language. Hey, how important is it for you to get clarity on your financial future, or get clarity on your retirement plan, or get whatever that is, right? How committed are you, right? People are interested. Oh yeah, I'm interested. There's a massive difference between interest and committed. Well, what this process will do, what I'm going to show you how to do and teach you to do, is how to get people committed. We're always going to maintain authority and scarcity. Again, that's critical for influence, right? And what we're doing here is we're not making a guarantee that, hey, we're going to take you on as a client. We're just talking about, hey, we're going to do this project together. We're going to spend some time together. We're going to get to know each other, right? And at the end of that project, we're going to talk about what the possibilities are. So again, we're not going for the assets. We're not going for the ACAT. We're just going for the planning retainer, the project retainer, whatever it happens to be, right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to take your whatever the game plan is, and you're going to align them with their 6 human needs. And I didn't cover human needs as part of this preview, but we're going to spend time in this program, what we call taking Tony Robbins' 6 human needs, and how to break that down into investment behavior, and how to align your offer when it comes time to make the offer, when it comes time to put the game plan together. How we're going to go ahead and frame it so where it frames to and aligns to the hierarchy that they have, not what we have, the hierarchy of their 6 human needs, okay? And then the last thing we're going to do is after we do all that, we're going to go ahead and get the Yes Zoom, which is 30 minutes. We're going to review the pain points, right? get affirmation. So again, we're going to check in with them on the whole process. We're going to link. So in other words, we've gone ahead, we've done our findings, we've done all that. We're going to link our recommendations, answer any objections, have the why in the road conversation, right? So this is after. So the fourth meeting is, so you've delivered, so you've done the intro, you've done the consult, now you've delivered the plan, right? So now we're into step 4, which is what do we want to do? And we're going to talk about the options they have. So after you do a plan, hey, you can take this plan, do it on your own, right? Go take it. You can go self-implement. If you have a current advisor, you can go back to them and show, hey, I paid somebody or I compensated somebody. This is what I want to do. Reality is this. If they're in front of you, they've compensated you, they're not going to go back to their current advisor. They're just not. Or we frame and discuss a collaborative partnership with you. That's what we're really looking for. And then obviously we get the yes. So again, 4-meeting process in just to recap briefly here. So again, the first meeting is always going to be an intro meeting. That's what we do, right? Then we do a consultation where we figure out what the projects are, right? We get hired. Then we deliver the findings of that project, right? And we're framing, we're linking everything back and forth, right? And we still want them to think about it. And then we're going to have a fourth meeting, which is to reiterate everything that we found in the plan and our deliverables and our project, right? We're going to review it, emotionally link it, answer objections, which again, I'm not doing this part of the preview, but we're going to spend, I've got a very elaborate objection handling tool process, which is very elegant. It's not about, it's not about a debate. It really works really well. And then you see that we're always going to have that why in the road. The whole goal here is to help them make decisions on hiring you, if it's a good fit and it makes sense. And that's where, again, a lot of advisors get caught up. Is the worst place you can ever be with somebody that's not yet a client is, well, let me think about it. I'll get back to you. We are going for, if you think about it, what is it at the end of the day that you're really offering? It's the second from the bottom. It's a collaborative partnership. That's what it's not your planning process. It's not just the team. It's not your, asset allocation strategies and tax planning strategies. They all fall underneath this. But what is this, right? What's the big thing? It's a partnership with you. It's a partnership with you and your team. Ultimately, that's what we're presenting. That is the offer, right? And that's why you've got to go get the yes. So, last thing I'll say about this, and then guys, get you out of here. First off, I hope you've watched all 3 of these episodes that we've done. Again, the game has changed. How we take on clients has changed. If they think they're more sophisticated, they're more knowledgeable, we can debate that. But you just can't run a 2-meeting process anymore. Hey, meeting, give me all your statements. I'll come up with some ideas. We'll get back together again. Because then you end up in follow-up hell. This is about not having to do follow-ups. This is about getting the yes and moving them forward. Okay? And like I said, we are doing this the last Monday and Tuesday of June 2023. The live stream and masterclass. Registration's open. Since you're going to see us on Friday, I'll leave it open Saturday. I'll give another 24 hours on that. And then that's it. And this will not be available again until 2024. So, any questions, reach out. Thank you for watching and listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. And I'll look forward to seeing you again next week. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net, and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game, both personally and professionally.